I'll tell you right now.
I know exactly what you're
going to say. We know who
the
anti-Mormon's political party is. They're all Democrats. There's no room for conservatism and anti-Mormonism. And atheism is all about modern progressivism. So I got to tell you.
I'm a Republican. I don't believe in the mass of these like those aborting Democrats do. I believe in the mass of Arab children when we drone strike them.
The one true party for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints was the Reform Party that was started when Joseph Smith was running for president.
Oh, you're going Joe Smith.
Oh, party. Heck yeah.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Midnight Mormons. I am your host, Carton Ellis. We are joined in the studio by Kwaku L. and Brad Whitbeck. And today we are going to answer a burning question. What is the church's one true political party? Yep, you heard it here first, folks. We're going to take the leader of the BYU Democrats, Kwaku L.
Years ago.
Hey, I served in the GOP in the
What the heck does that mean, Carden?
GOP, which is the Grand Old Party. I held Republican office. I was in our Central Committee.
Nice.
For the the Central Committee. So
and I'm an immigrant, so
yeah.
There we go.
So anyway, I guess who wants to take this one first? Somebody asked us, what is the church's it wasn't as incendiary, but what is the one true political party? Who wants to go first? Because I can go.
I really just...
I'll tell you right now.
I know exactly what you're
going to say. We know who the anti-Mormon's political party is. They're all Democrats. There's no room for conservatism and anti-Mormonism. And atheism is all about modern progressivism. So I got to tell you, I don't see how... that says a lot who your enemies are. Like if 98% of your enemies are of that party, it kind of makes me think that I
should have just said your answer, because I don't think that I would have said anything, even one word different, because that is just the way that you feel politically, isn't it?
What are you looking at? Kwaku?
I hate to be this guy. But let's be real. Idol worship is bad, and neither of these parties reflect Christ's values. They're both two wings of the same bird built to manipulate us. And also, it's like, you know what?
But which wants to enslave and kill your people, and which allows you to farm your own land?
Hey, both will get there. Give them time. Legitimately,
there is one that is far less than the other.
I'm a Republican. I don't believe in the mass of like those aborting Democrats do. I believe in the mass of Arab children when we drone strike them under George W. Bush's presidency. It's all the same stuff. It's all the same.
It's two sides of the same coin, man.
They've all got a beam in their eye pointing at the other, and the reality is their homeless people are still on the street, not being helped. We still got people starving, and all these rich people in the top 1% of the 1% who have all this wealth don't give a shiznit about anybody else, and they go and they pick their poison, and you get the dumb people at the bottom going, I'm going to vote for this guy because this guy's on my side. He's not in your side. You're a plebeian, a fatso. He does never want to be around you, and you acting like you guys are really, you think Donald Trump is really on the side of the man? He's a common man. He is a gazillionaire who lives in mansions
and we
who would
asked
never
the
be
party,
caught dead
not
with
the
you.
one true candidate.
So here is my answer for the one true party.
Okay.
The one true party for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints was the Reform Party that was started when Joseph Smith was running for president.
Oh, you're going Joe Smith.
Oh, party. Heck yeah. It was a party that had on part of its basis decreased the pay of Congress.
I gotta look this up.
Yeah, pull it up.
Decreased the pay of Congress, huh?
Yeah, decreased the pay of Congress in the 1840s.
Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah, they were ahead of their time with that one, weren't they?
Yeah, but also Ted Cruz wants to do that, and I don't really want anything
Joseph
Ted
Smith
Cruz
was
has to say because he kind of weirds me out.
What'd you say?
It's a time for choosing.
Have you ever shaken his hand?
He got huge hands.
They are massive.
I've met
and
Ted Cruz in person.
Yeah,
He's got
me
a
too.
large head.
Yeah,
a very
it's
large
huge.
head. Yeah,
I don't know how.
he's like a puppet, like a big puppet man.
But he's very kind. So
He is. Yeah.
here's the deal. The Reform Party was freaking awesome. They had, among their things in their platform, they had decreased the pay of Congress, right? They had a way to abolish slavery, was part of what they were going to aim for.
Okay.
And it was actually a solid plan. They were going to do a bunch of prison reform, which I think is super necessary with
Okay.
what we're doing right now. Because, I mean, both our political parties are just like, yeah, throw more people in jail. The more people in jail, the better. The next thing up, what was their other... Well, let's just look at it. What do we have?
Well, actually, the Wikipedia article is surprisingly barren. It's one sentence, basically, that says the Reform Party, or Mormon Reform Party, was an American political party formed by Joseph Smith in 1843 before he launched his campaign for president. After the Mormon exodus to Utah, they switched their support to the People's Party. Oh, and here's a little link. This is fun. We're going to click on this. And oh, look! Would you look at that, ladies and gentlemen? We've got an actual pamphlet with, oh my gosh, Sidney Rigdon was his vice presidential candidate?
Yeah, man. They were going for someone else, James Allen Bennett, but he turned out to be Irish, I think.
So it's kind of like
he-
that whole, is Ted Cruz Canadian?
Yeah.
Does Barack Obama have a birth certificate?
Uh-huh.
I thought you meant like Joe Smith was like, I ain't gonna have no Irish on my ticket.
It's like them drunk Irishmen. You'll never keep the word wisdom. But
That's funny.
You know, look, I think that that politics are, it's, you know, at the end of the day, it's all corporate manipulation to get people to be compliant in a system that hates them. So, you know, neither side is the church's true side, and you know,
I will push back on that, saying this though: the Democrat Party hates Mormons. Post-Prop 8, they abjectly, openly hate us. I don't think there's any party that loves us.
I wouldn't say that
But
that's
no,
the Democrat Party,
they
though.
abjectly
That's
hate us.
leftists,
And
though.
in our state, they shut down our church for 2 years.
But
in
that was
states
done
that are run
by
by
secular leftists.
I'm with Bill Maher on this one. He's like, you know what? Like, when I came out here to California, I found paradise. But now as I tour, honestly, the blue states suck. The people suck. They won't laugh at your jokes. Political correctness has taken over everything. You're stuck in traffic all day long. None of the infrastructure works. It just sucks.
But hey,
You know, but if I want to go to the red states, it's a joy. So it's like, I'm not here to say that Republicans love us, but dude, you can go to church this Sunday with no potential recourse, no threat of arrest, none of this like, oh, Omicron, Delta, Xi Jinping, you know, can't name it. You don't have this absolute dearth of anti-Mormonism that is state sanctioned.
okay, but
against
here's
you.
the thing though. So, I lived in Texas, grew up in Texas, and when I became LDS, I got way more heat in Texas from the conservatives there than when I moved a year later to San Francisco, the most liberal place
Wait, but
in
heat
America.
about what? Like distasteful Playboy shirts?
No,
Like
they
what?
do like
this was before he was
I
doing
got
that.
more criticism for being Mormon from Southern conservatives in my town than I did
Yeah.
when I lived in San Francisco.
Yeah, like Cardin, are you forgetting when Mitt Romney ran for president?
Oh no!
Mike,
and
how
remember,
much-
remember when Mike
yeah.
and this
Huckabee?
is not to defend
Both
Southern
sides.
evangelicals.
You
but-
Both
cannot
sides
vote
hate us.
for a Mormon like Mitt Romney.
Okay, Mike Suckabee.
Seriously,
Shut
that
up.
guy, that never gonna be president guy.
No,
yeah.
freaking
So
loser.
I
Also,
don't know,
before,
dude. I don't know.
Before people find me to be some kind of like, you know, stan for the Republican Party, the fact that they didn't get rid of the FISA courts when they absolutely should have lays the foundation for religious persecution in a country that supposedly enshrines religious freedom.
Also, Cardin. wait, Cardin.
What?
I get to interrupt here. And I remember, you're my friend, but also you got to remember this. You, as a person, represent so much of what Democrats, like, you walk
Hate
into a
'cause I'm
building.
white and male.
That's,
Or
oh,
what?
stop playing
That
identity.
helps. I mean,
Stop playing identity politics,
Oh yeah,
you
because I'm
victim.
Christian and I
Here's what
don't,
I'm saying,
I
all right?
don't want
All
them
right?
to take care of me. I want to take care of myself.
This guy walks into a Barnes & Noble without a mask like this, like, yeah, like literally.
No, I was not. I was
with
not
a taco in his
chest out.
hand. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna buy some books on America. Like literally, this guy, like, as the like, you kind of have like this like chauvinisty kind of like, yeah, I'm gonna. Remember, we were at Brickburger
Wait, but
during
that's unfair though, because
we were at
I was
Brickburger
the
during the
Andrew
summer.
Yang guy.
I'm
Where
FaceTiming
is
a
it?
girl. He
this
takes
is
off his
still
shirt
here.
in public and literally just takes off his shirt on the FaceTime, and the people around are going, "What on earth?"
I should have had this one on.
Oh yeah,
I
your
was
math
straight
hat.
up. I was kind of third party for a while, a little bit.
Yeah,
Doc.
hey, I still am.
I'm just saying.
You
I
know?
don't. I think that a lot of, and maybe it's also.
Good thing. I got
and
my,
look,
dude. I got so many hats here, dog. It's freaking absurd, man.
maybe there's also an age difference because
You know?
when I was in San Francisco, none of them cared that I was. In fact, they all thought it was cool. They're like, "Oh, he's a Mormon." They're like, "Ooh, Mormons." What do you? No one cared. It might be different with like
Was that pre 2008 though?
In 2008, I was a child.
Oh,
he couldn't hardly walk.
I was a kid. I was a little kid.
oh, that's funny, dude. Did I just totally date myself there? That's a little bit sad.
Pre 2008?
Yeah, because that's when Proposition 8 happened, and that's when the whole big massive.
No,
change.
this
Neither
is a
of us
couple
were even
years
out of
ago.
elementary school by then.
Jeez, really?
This is
Yeah.
a couple years ago,
man,
Carden.
That's bad. Okay, cool.
And
All
so,
right,
like,
all right.
Oh, I was in middle school.
really?
Yeah,
yeah,
So I will say this though, because I had this conversation with Maga Hulk and the guys on You Ain't Black and whatnot, and they're kind of saying, hey, so do Mormons vote this certain way? I would actually argue, I'm actually with Quaco on this. You can be of many different political persuasions. In this body that we have right here, right now, there's people who have actually held leadership positions within party politics that are different parties. And there's also been many guests. Jim Bennett, for example, he is neither Republican nor Democrat. He started his own party. On this show, we've had members of multiple different political persuasions, but there's something that we have not doubted, that their eye is single to the glory of God. I think is the correct. Now, I will tell you this. I think it's very easy to be an ignorant member of many different parties and have your goodwill. This is what I think Mormons have to watch out for. Okay? Tomorrow, the Democrat Party could quit being the baby killing party if they just actually introduce some kind of relatively, acceptable norms into that, reverse puppy mill that they call the abortion industry. There's a lot of things that they could do to turn that ship around, right? But I think what we have to do is this is what Mormons have to not necessarily adopt, but what they have to watch out for. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, as Jim Bennett said, actually, really need to watch out for people who want to, quote, weaponize our empathy.
Yeah.
That is the biggest thing that I don't think we necessarily need to push a party as much as guard against those that would take advantage of our empathy.
Yeah.
Or what if we do what Joseph Smith wanted us to do and rise up and destroy the evil powers on high? At this point, I'm a liberal populist. I'm a total populist.
So how are you any different than AOC?
You would be surprised, but AOC and I have a lot of the same goals.
Okay.
I just think her method
like
of
Agenda
getting
23
there,
and stuff?
2030.
I don't think that's in it. That's like a UN thing.
Agenda
right?
2030?
Yeah,
Like,
no,
what is-
she's
what's the
she's on Green
conspiracy
New
theory?
Deal. Green New Deal.
Green New Deal.
That's
Which again,
AOC.
I think the Green New Deal and trying to get it to happen could cause us so many issues and disasters. But the idea itself is not a bad idea.
Yeah,
If
but
they
see,
would
that's a
embrace
perfect
nuclear
example
power.
of your empathy being weaponized.
I'm not. No. First,
If-
first, I can't vote for the chick even if I wanted to. I don't live in her state. Second, I'm just saying that's not my.
Actually, you
empathy
could
being
vote
weaponized.
for if you wanted to. It's called mail-in ballots in there.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Oh wait, Card, you freaking peaked, dude.
What?
You were like red the whole time.
Oh, yeah, it's fine. I
Okay,
got a DVD.
But what I'm
yeah.
saying though is this: I think that there's truth that there's truth found on both of the political persuasions.
Yep.
However, the people in charge have the same beliefs.
Yeah.
Bush and Obama had the same beliefs as had Clinton, both Hillary and Bill Clinton. I at this point, I
Did
think
you
it's
mean to say Hillary, or did it just slip?
Who did she kill?
You just said
but, okay, but,
Watch out, it's gonna be you, dude.
no, there's at this point there's too many people that are calling out the elite corruption at this point. They'd have to kill all of us, right? So it's like whatever. But there's so much corruption at the top at this point. I think it's more of just the people versus the corruption.
And that's part of the thing that I think is, honestly, our two-party system has subverted the checks and balances built into the Constitution. And so, like, we don't really have three branches of government anymore. It's just a race to see who can turn them red or blue fast enough to get all of their agendas
Well,
through.
and our leadership needs to freaking grow a spine.
Yeah.
Like, they really need to grow a spine. And this whole idea of the Johnson Amendment, making it so that pastors can't opine about moral consequences of real life political legislation. I'm sorry. Like, our pastors, our bishops, our stake presidents, our prophet and 12 apostles need to stand up and start saying this is a moral evil. Okay? It's not this thing that we need to tolerate, which we tolerate by the world's definition of secretly love in a backdoor way. No, they actually need to step up and say, no, these things are morally incorrect. These will lead to X, Y, or Z. You know, we don't need to control people's agency, but they need to get out and they actually need to say what is evil and what is not, because that is the biggest thing. Like, we don't have a...
So I actually have a thought.
Okay.
The reason why people didn't really listen to the socially conservative movement in the early 2000s, and the reason it was discounted, and I think there's a number of reasons, but one of the things
played out because it was so vocal in the 90s. By the early 2000s, it was played out.
Well, I remember in like 4th grade, this TV show came out on ABC Family called The Secret Life of the American Teenager. It was actually a really good show, but it was about this girl who was like 16 or 17, got pregnant in high school. Mm-hmm. And the show actually just showed like what the difficulty of becoming pregnant as a teenager and what that's like. And it was a good show. I think it like won an Emmy or something, right?
Yeah.
The moms in my hometown started freaking out, the Christian Republican moms. And they were like, if they show a 16-year-old girl pregnant, it's going to get all the daughters in the town are going to get pregnant early, which is the most ridiculous leap of logic I've ever heard in my life, right?
Also, it did the opposite.
Oh, yeah.
It actually lowered teenage pregnancy rates.
Well, I don't know if the TV show lowered the teenage
That correlates
pregnancy.
pretty well, though.
Okay, well, before you guys are... please. Okay, so whenever you like, that was my first real introduction to what, like, politics were and, like, what the liberals and conservatives were. And I remember going, what a bunch of whiners. Shut up. It's a show. And suddenly, I felt like the conservatives were the ones that were always these easily offended, wimpy, just respect my feelings. And then by the time I graduate high school, I'm going, why are all the liberals such wimpy, respect my feelings? And I feel like it's a mindset. You know, I feel like I hate to sound like a new agey shaman, but it's literally like a vibrational frequency of who wants to be an offended victim. And it just kind of peruses around both, sides. Because the reality is there are just people that want to be victims and want to act like everyone's trying to destroy them.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm the first politician who gets up there and he says, we're fat. We're a fat country, and that's created a lot more problems than most of you want to recognize. It destroys your health care, hurts your education, hurts your ability to drive well. Just about every damn thing being fat makes worse. We need not be a fat country. But we don't, like they're actual just core things that go throughout everything that we don't, and so we have people who are like, let's create let's have a train go through every single state, and then we'll have a taxpayer.
Well, see, I would look at that though, and I would say that's not a function of government. That's a function of parental, church, and social leadership. But we have an absolute crisis of leadership in this country because the post-war boomers grew up so rich that they didn't have to cultivate the raw and difficult skills that the warrior priests of old had. Okay. And so everybody's so afraid of saying something against the obesity epidemic that might offend McDonald's or might offend, offend nature-made soy bars or whatever. Okay. Yeah. And so what happens is everybody's passing the buck to everybody else socially responsible. And I would push back on the idea that the media we consume doesn't have an influence, only in the sense of, as an overwhelming microcosm, we no longer positively represent God or believing people in American cinema, music, or television. We no longer venerate the housewife, marriage, parental sacrifice, except for maybe some tenets of country music and some really cringy and bad Christian cinema. Okay,
well,
you know what I'm saying?
Okay, I'm not trying to sound like the uber liberal here, but I also, though, I want to push back on that a little. The first thing I'm going to push back on, like these past 2 years during COVID, we lost a lot of mom and pop restaurants. And so we have more fast food chains now that are making us absolutely, and if you better believe those corrupt elites want that. They want us out of shape and unhealthy. That's exactly what they want. Which is why I remember the people were like, "Yeah, COVID's going to kill fat people faster." That's misinformation. No, now they're going, "Yeah, no, it's true. Yeah, it was a lot of fat people that died." Okay, well, they knew this from the get-go. But then the second thing is,
did you know you get a free donut?
Yeah, well, remember who's the Bill de Blasio who's like, "Oh, if you get the vaccine, you get some fries." Yeah, and he's eating the fries. He's like, "Oh, but you can also have a burger." It's like you're shoving your face.
We're really concerned with public health right now.
Jeez Louise, man. You have people peeing in your streets and having with needles around them. Like, New York sucks. No offense, I know you serve your mission. But then, okay.
Hey, someone has to try to save it.
But look at you look at the media, right? And I don't. You have people like the Guardians of the Galaxy guy, Chris Pratt. Major Christian, open major Christian. Justin Bieber.
They try to cancel him for being a Christian, which is crazy.
Yeah, but okay, Justin Bieber, also very Christian. He sang at Church Home and Hillsong. Kanye West. So I do think it's a little bit of a boogeyman where they're like, okay, no, we have to just Christianity, like we have to go after the Christian. No, I mean, we got a lot of big Christian celebrities right now. Probably more right now than we did in the past couple of years.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think there's a turnaround that's happened. Like, this is what I've noticed. I very much agree with you that in the 90s and the 2000s, the conservative Christian right still had some power. That's why now I think the sitcoms and all the celebrities, when they post about how like, oh yeah, rise up against, dog. Oh, shut up. Like, churches now are a soft target because all of the anti-church rhetoric of the 90s and the early 2000s worked. And now churches have been wildly decimated. Church attendance is down. There's no prayer in schools. You're not allowed to be a Christian, in these public offices because there's a million freedom from religion watch groups that are looking at every single thing you do, ready to sue you. So the reason why the Christian right socially sucked so badly, and I think lost its power, was because, just like you said, the mindset of complaint is oftentimes just like we said to Bill Reel, cowardice always precedes hypocrisy always precedes cowardice, I think was the phrase, right? The Christian right was blaming MTV for kids and teen pregnancy and the rise in teen suicide and drug use and so on and so forth.
When really it's bad parenting.
When really it was horrible parenting.
Yeah.
A generation of latchkey children. Mm-hmm. The divorce epidemic was at an absolute sky high.
Yeah.
Okay. Because somehow secular leftism had convinced even the Christians that a woman out working 45 hours a week in a job that she hates for a godless, faceless corporation, okay, is somehow more noble than her cultivating her legacy and doing something that no corporation can do, that no man can do, making another human.
Actually, you know what's funny? I've been seeing all these TikToks with these really pretty girls who are like, they're like laying in bed and they're like, I have to wake up in 2 hours to go to work because some B word in 1890 thought that I should have to spend my time out of the house. And it's like, you look at like so many of these like influencer girls who are like, man, there's nothing more than you want than a husband to take care of you, because staying home, making food and playing with babies and making TikToks is literally the dream of every modern American girl right now. And we're like, no, go slave in an office.
Right now, it's leftist secularism that's saying that. Yes. So I think
secularism in general, too,
and secularism in general.
And so here's the thing that I want to do, bringing it back into our political party discussion.
Yeah.
I think it's worth looking at other political parties to get outside of to try to break down this two-party dichotomy that we have. I want to throw in a plug for the Forward Party that Andrew Yang started.
Okay.
Anybody who is dissatisfied with the two parties that exist, take a look at the Forward Party. I don't know if everything on their platform is great, but it's better than most.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's something outside of the duopoly that we have that's fueling our geriatric oligarchy that we have running our country right now.
Well, you see, I'm not sure if I don't have time to get into that, what I was going to say. It's too out there. But I will say this. I think that, Cardin, what you were saying, when religions have taken a hit, but I think these past couple years and the tech censorship and the absolute, like, the leftist takeover of wanting to be in charge of everything has made a lot of people, including a lot of young people, have a lot of resentment toward the left, and an incredible amount of resentment. I think religion will come back, but it's not going to look the way it has looked before. I think there's going to take some significant changes.
It won't be a geriatric oligarchy run by a bunch of old people who think that spirituality is being quiet.
I think that these last couple years and these next couple years might be good for religion, because it's going to squeeze away the things we don't need. And when it comes back, I think it's going to be more effective.
And that's part of what I think is the genius of the home-centered church stuff that we've had happening as we've been dealing with the pandemic and everything. And even this preceded it, right? That we're supposed to be in charge of our own salvation a little bit better. And I think as we embrace that, we'll have better advice from God as to how to vote and to what sort of things we should be looking for in candidates.
Also, I think politics is going to get real simple real fast, because it's becoming readily apparent that it's far less and less a Republican-Democrat thing as much as a
authoritarian thing,
and non-belief, or an authoritarian and freedom argument. And literally, I think the more Christian you think about your politics, the more readily apparent how you should behave politically is going to be. When most of America was a generally Judeo-Christian community, we could kind of separate politics from our religion. Okay. Because, JFK was kind of pretty much the same as Richard Nixon when it came to the idea that, we should have low taxes, limited government, lots of freedom, Bill of Rights. Woohoo. You know what I'm saying? But now, now it's so much deeper than that. And I think we've gotten into a point when everybody believes you can separate church from politics, but when they're literally trying to disincentivize belief, you know what I'm saying? Now, all of a sudden you can't. And I really think politics is going to get real simple for members of the church pretty soon, because like here in California, should we allow people to congregate or not? Are literally questions people are asking now. Okay. Should members of our church be able to meet and have worship services? That's literally a question getting asked by the single ruling party of California right now. And they said no. What literally Daniel's king could not do to Daniel's people, and got so pissed at him that they threw him in a lion's den over. All right. Gavin Newsom was able to pull off. So, I mean.
Yeah, that's because he had that plastic-faced clown Larry Elder running against him.
Oh, gosh.
Savage, man.
I think I know what. The guy was weird. He gave everyone the creeps, and no one wanted to. And,
it's
and
true
the way,
that
and the way
once he
his
ran, there
teeth
was a
moved when he
boogeyman.
talked, but his lips didn't. It was like a weird, like, let me tell you, the Democrats, what the Democrats want to do is absolutely.
And see,
I love how you made a 1930s sports broadcaster out of Larry Elder, going like, hey, what do you do? Come on, there, sportster. Hey.
I love a black commentary guy who will call black people on their crap, because we don't have enough people that call black people on their crap on the black side. But that guy, I swear, just like literally, it could be like a video of a cop could shoot a kindergarten girl in the face, and he'll be like, "Well, if you look at her lunchbox, she clearly had evil terrorist symbolism on it." It's like, no, sorry, no, you're nuts. Also, I think you probably did beat your wife. I think you totally did, dude. I'm sorry, completely.
okay. So here's another thing I want to say. Our two-party system is responsible for the psychopaths like that end up being our only options.
Yeah,
if we didn't have our
this is
primary
such-
systems, if our primary systems weren't consuming our ability to actually know which choice we could make, they both sit there and go, I'm the most Democrat. No, I'm the most Republican. And then we have someone the farthest right and the farthest left that we could possibly get. And then we get to the general election and, now I'm the most center of all of those. It incentivizes them to lie. It incentivizes them to just please their party base so that they can make it through their primaries. And then they finally get in the position that they are being generally elected on. And so many people don't vote because we don't have a good option because our primaries are horrible.
Wait, assuming we did a whole podcast about how the political system is broken, but are you guys still going to vote in the next election?
It's the one chess move that you have.
Yeah, you
A
gotta
team of
try to
5,000
do
other
something.
Are you
Communism is the worst system ever because they only give you one option, and we have the best system ever because we have one more option than the worst system ever. Voting is stupid. I'm sorry. Like for local county stuff.
Oh, you're
great.
sick of voting,
Dude, I'm sick of voting for the president. Like
yeah.
they already didn't pick
Presidential
him.
election feels really weird. I wish
We're gonna have.
you got to look into your local politics better, though.
No, that's what I said. That's important to vote for local people.
Yeah.
Like, for example, the Utah County. I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that David Leavitt, it will no longer be Utah County Attorney General. He's a very corrupt man, and I will do everything in my power to have influence over those things. But let me tell you though, some like president, huh? Well, you think they didn't pick him out already? They already know who they want. They already know who they want.
Okay, so we started this asking the question, who is the one true political party? I don't think you can be too far in the know on the Democratic Party platform and feel good consistently voting for them. Dieter Uchtdorf, in my book, knowing that he straight up donated Raphael Baby Killer Warnock,
And
the
see-
guy that literally makes sermons about how baby killing is somehow an affirmative moral good.
And so to me,
All right.
that dismissal of an apostle
yeah, okay.
because of a political donation is you letting your politics get in the way of
Actually,
your
you know what's funny?
religion.
It's actually not the politics, believe it or not. That's the soundbite, and that's kind of the funny thing, like, oh, whatever. What really bothers me about that whole thing is everybody knows, I think it's since like 2007 or 2010 or something, but like over a decade ago, they made a hard and fast rule. Once you get called to be an apostle, no more political involvement or donations. You can't serve in office and you can't donate. You better go out and vote because yes, you are a citizen. You have to do your civic duty as a member of our church and all that other crap.
I don't
But
think
you can't
everyone knows that. I didn't know that. I had no
I
idea.
guarantee you he did. And he said, oh,
I don't even believe that's really a rule.
What do you mean it's not a rule? Yeah, he violated the rule of political donations because political donations are all open source. And he violated that rule. He violated it thrice, I believe it was, giving the maximum donation to like 3 different campaigns. There was the 2 there was the 2 Senate campaigns in Georgia, and then there was the presidential campaign of Joe Biden. And he came out with the claim that, oh, it's from a joint bank account that my wife owned. So he kind of like threw his wife a little bit under the bus, but says, oh, it was an oversight. Dude, I have seen bishops and stake presidents that have served in political office or worked for campaigns as hired hands that have gotten in for more trouble for simple jokes that they've made from the pulpit, for accidentally having Mormon helping hands vests in their trunk that could be seen at a picture at an event in a newspaper, not even related to what the story was. I've seen for much smaller infractions of what is considered proper action in the church, men that were leaders get totally lambasted and toasted by our leadership of the church. Meanwhile, this guy at the top is going out and making massive donations. Come on.
Those guys were all conservative, huh?
Wait, Cardin, are you saying you don't sustain Dieter F. Uchtdorf?
Despite of his massive political flaws, you know what I'm saying? I sustain him. And it's when we sustain them in spite of their massive political flaws.
Turn the camera to me.
Yeah, no, it's on you.
Can you sustain somebody while saying their name and going... Because I don't think...
as long as at conference he does this, right?
I don't know. I feel like raising your hand to the square in that moment might be a little bit false.
It kind of sounds like when they're like, I love you, Kelly. I love your stupid thumb nose and your ugly freaking teeth and your no boobs and your flat... Oh my gosh. But I love you.
Okay, calm down.
Dude, okay, so here it is. Look, I'm just pulling this up right now so you guys can see it, so you know that I'm not just talking out of my butt. But here it is. Elder Uchtdorf.
You can do that?
Yeah, clarifies family campaign donations during elections. All right, there's a bunch of articles written on this. Here's his FEC filings. Sorry, the FEC filings. But look, the church issued a policy in 2011. Oh, I was wrong. It wasn't 2010, it was 2011, against donations by senior full-time church leaders. It states... General authorities and general officers of the church and their spouses and other ecclesiastical leaders serving full-time should not personally participate in political campaigns, including promotion, fundraising, speaking on behalf of, or otherwise endorsing or making financial contributions. It's all there in black and white. He knew about it. He went against it. He got caught, and he's not supposed to do that because he's an apostle.
I guarantee you it wasn't, I really just want to donate against the church's rules right now. I want to break a rule of the church. I'm going to go do that. That's not how it went down. I believe what he has to say when he says, it was an oversight.
I don't see how you can possibly contribute the Democrat Party.
How many rules do you think an apostle has to live by?
They have tried to take away the 501c. Hold on.
How many commandments have you broken? How many commandments have you broken?
Oh, dude, tons.
And yes, and guarantee you, a lot of those were on accident.
Okay.
How many rules do you think Uchtdorf ends up having to keep? He's going to lose track of one or two.
Fine, let's just say, this was an oversight. We give him the benefit of the doubt. Fine, I'm going to ask for the benefit of the doubt when I'm standing in front of God and I'm getting judged.
Yeah,
so
of course.
I'll give it to him. I'm not going to be a hypocrite. But let me tell you, I do not see how he squares as being a leader of the church in his mind, knowing that his party has tried to take away the 501c3 status of the church. 3 times that I can think of in my lifetime.
Bro.
3 times they've come after the 501c3 status of the church, and yet you're donating to these people? Look, Republicans are boneheads, but at least they're not trying to take away the religious exemption status of the church you represent, Barosef.
Did you donate to Andrew Yang when he was running as a Democrat?
I bought some merch, which I think the way his campaign was.
Wow, did you give money?
Oh, wait a second.
To a Democrat?
I didn't. No.
To a horrible
my merch was given me.
Oh.
No, I was
So you just advocated for somebody who is of this political party. I wasn't
for universal basic income, but I did not vote. And by the way, this is where else I was going to. I think Mormons are not conservative. I think they are socially conservative, fiscally liberal.
I can't say what I want to say.
Say it.
Just do it.
Say it.
I can't. It has to be taken out if I say it.